today we're going to talk about how to style and kind of do a touch up on our login system we created in the last episode, because I have people asking me, well, we created this really ugly looking thing here, but how do we actually make it look like a real login system, that you actually see inside a website? So in this episode, we're just going to focus on actually putting our login field up here inside a header, like a menu bar or something. And we're also going to put the logout button inside a menu bar. Then we're going to go ahead and take our sign up sheet, or like our sign up form, and put it inside a separate document for itself. So we will actually be including 2 pages inside our website here. We're going to have the front page with just our header. And then we're going to have our sign up page with our header and a sign up form. So what we're going to do to start with is something we should probably have done in the first episode, which is we're going to go ahead and take all our, we have these documents in here called signup.php, login.php, and logout.php. And all these documents do is they run a script when we load them that either signs us up, logs us in, or logs us out. And I don't want these to be called signup.php and login.php and so on, because these are basically what I like to call include files. Now, these are not a page inside our website. These are just a file that runs a script. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up my root folder. I'm going to go ahead and right click, create a new folder called includes. And I'm going to go ahead and take my login.php, logout.php, and signup.php and move them inside my includes folder. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and close down my signup.php, because right now the path has actually changed. I'm going to close my login and logout.php. Then I'm going to go back into my root folder and open up these files once more, because now the path should be correct. Well, before we open it up, I do want to change the name of these files. So they're called login.inc.php, logout, if I actually change it here, there we go, logout.inc.php, and signup.inc.php. So now, writing it like this, signup.inc.php, is not some kind of file extension. It's just basically us naming it something else. And I just like putting .inc, and it doesn't do anything. It's just for naming purpose that we write this. So now I can actually go ahead and open this up, and we now have these files inside here. Now, because we just did this, we're going to need to change a couple of things, because we just changed the path to these documents, meaning that right now inside our front page, our login form, our sign up form, and our logout form are actually linking to some kind of document that we changed the name of and changed the path of. So we're going to have to repath and rename these things down here. So inside our login form, we're going to go into the action. We're going to write that the path is inside includes /login.inc.php. Now I'm just going to go ahead and copy my include path here and go down to my sign up form, include it in here as well, and change the name to signup.inc.php, and the same thing for the logout form down here. There we go. Now, we do need to do one more thing, because if we go back into our logout and login and signup.inc.php, we do actually need to relink to our database file that we do actually have here that connects us to the database, because now we changed the path, so we need to relink to this as well. So going into our login.inc.php, I'm going to go to my include dbh.php code up here. I'm going to write /dbh.php. I'm going to just go ahead and copy the .. And I'm also going to go down to my header location down here at the bottom, the function that actually takes us back to the front page when we do actually log in. And I'm going to change the path to .. index.php as well. I'm going to go into my signup.inc.php now. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to include it inside my include function up here and inside my header function at the bottom. I'm going to go into my index again. And now what we're going to do is, I did actually mention we're going to have a separate page just for the sign up form. Now, because we do this, we need to make sure that our session has started on every single page inside our website. Now, in the last episode, I did actually mention that we could simply take the session start and put it inside a document by itself that we attached on top of every single page we have inside the website. And we're going to do that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file that's completely empty. I'm going to save it inside my root folder as header.php. And I'm going to go ahead and take this document and put it on top of every single page we have inside our website, which means that I can actually go ahead and take everything from our opening body tag down here inside the HTML code and copy all the way to the top here. I'm going to copy it and delete it. Then I'm going to go into my header.php and paste it in. So now if we do actually include this document on every single page, we should automatically get our session start and all the starting code for our HTML file. If I go back to my index file, I'm going to go ahead and open up my PHP code at the very top, because we do actually need to include this header.php document we just created here. So I'm going to say include, single quotes, and we're going to say header.php, semicolon. So now if we do actually refresh our website, you guys can see it looks exactly the same. Now, of course, you couldn't actually see any difference because we didn't have anything inside the header. But what we can do now is we can actually go ahead and start setting up our sign up page inside our website. So I'm going to go up and create a new document again, save it inside my root folder as signup.php. And that's the reason I wanted to change the name of our files, because right now we will actually be creating a file or like a page inside our website called signup.php. And if we still had our, script that simply just went in and signed us up, which is called signup.inc.php right now, these files would essentially start getting mixed up and we will get confused and that sort of thing. So it's nicer to have them inside a separate folder, at least if it's just a script. So inside our signup.inc, or sorry, not our signup.inc, but our signup.php, we're going to go ahead and go into our front page, copy everything, and paste it into our signup.php file. Now in here, we're going to delete everything that we don't want to be inside our page, the page itself, meaning that we're going to go ahead and delete our logout button. So we just have the sign up button, or like our sign up form in here. So we're going to as well delete our login form. What was that? Was that the actual login form? That was not the login form, but we will just keep that for now. So we're going to also delete our login form, like so. So now the only thing you guys should have inside our signup.php is the little PHP code up here that checks if you're actually logged in, and our actual form that signs us up inside the website. So now if I do actually go ahead and go to my browser and go up and change the path up in my URL to PHP lessons /signup.php, you guys can see we get you are not logged in and we get a sign up form only. So now I'm going to go back to my front page inside the browser and inside the code as well. So now we're going to go ahead and remove the sign up form from our front page. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete it here, like so. And I'm also going to go ahead and delete all these breaks we have here because there's no reason to have them here. So what we can do now, or what we have inside our front page at least, is our login form. We have our message that tells us if we're logged in, and we have the logout form. Now, because I said we were going to put these inside a header, like the login form and the logout form, we're going to go ahead and copy our, well, let's actually go ahead and set up a header first. So let's actually go ahead and go into our header.php file, go down beneath the body tag, which is at the very bottom here. And we're going to go ahead and create a header tag, which is going to include our navigation and all that sort of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and create the header tags. And I'm also going to go ahead and create our nav tags for the navigation. And inside these nav tags, I'm going to include a unordered list. And inside of here, I'm going to include a list item and an anchor tag. There we go. Now we need two, menu points inside our menu. We need one that goes to the front page and we need one that goes to the sign up sheet. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy these down like so. And inside our first link, we're going to go ahead and write home or something. There we go. And inside the second link, we're going to write sign up. Or we might not actually need this in here, but let's just go ahead and put it in here for now. So now that we have this, we can actually go ahead and, choose the path, because we do need a path to actually go to the front page. I'm going to say index.php. And in the sign up, I'm going to say signup.php. So now that we have this, we can actually go into our front page, refresh, and you guys can see we get two menus up here. We get home and sign up, and we can actually go back and forth between these two pages now. Now we need to actually style our header. So we're actually going to go ahead and go into our header document, and inside the head tags, we're gonna go ahead and link to a style sheet. I did actually link already, but you guys need to make sure you do actually have a link to your style sheet in here. And we need to create the actual style sheet now. So I'm gonna open up a new document. I'm gonna save it as style.css inside my root folder. And we're gonna go ahead and start styling our header tags. So I'm gonna write header, curly brackets, and I'm gonna say width 100%. I'm gonna say height as, why not put it as 60 pixels? And we're gonna give it a background color as a very dark gray. And it's just gonna be hashtag 222222, because why not? So now that we have this, we can actually go ahead and refresh our browser. As you guys can see, we do actually get this navigation looking thing. Let me just zoom out for you guys so it looks more realistic. So now we need to change the actual margin, because we do actually have some margin at the top here. We don't want that. And we need to change the styling of the actual menu. So we need to go back into our styling here. And at the very top of our style sheet, I'm going to go ahead and write star, which means that we're styling everything. Open up the code. And I'm going to say margin set to 0 pixels, and padding set as 0 pixels. There we go. And now we're going to go ahead and style the actual text inside our navigation. So I'm going to go ahead and say nav space ul space li and space anchor tag. Open up the code, and I'm just going to go ahead and copy paste this a couple of times, so at least 2 times. There we go. And for the first one, we're going to go ahead and delete everything down to the ul tag. On the second one, we're going to delete down to the li tag. Now, I don't know why I'm explaining all this to you guys, because you should be knowing how to style basic navigation by now. So I'm just going to go ahead and move a little bit faster here. Now, inside our list item, I'm going to say list style and set it to none. And I'm also going to go ahead and include something up in my star code, which is text decoration. Whoops, that was spelled incorrectly. Decoration, there we go. And set it to none. I'm going to go back down to my anchor tag down here at the very bottom. I'm going to say color, and let's set it to white. Like so. Font family, set it to Arial, because that's the only font that I have right now that looks somewhat normal. And we're going to say font size, and set it to maybe 16 pixels. Now what we're going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and refresh my browser to see what we have so far. And as you guys can see, it looks a bit more normal. Let's actually go ahead and go down to our list items and say float left. And then we're going to take our UL tag and say float right. And I'm just going to go ahead and give it a small margin from the top as maybe 20 pixels. I have no idea if that is enough, but we will actually just do that. Yeah, that seems pretty good. I'm also going to go ahead and give it a margin right, our UL tag, because we do want it not touching the right side of the browser. Going to give it 60 pixels, because why not? We can actually see what's going on. And I'm also going to go ahead and go down to our list item and say margin right, and say maybe 20 pixels. I don't know. There we go. So now we have a menu up here. So what we want to do now is we want to take our login form and put it inside our header instead of having it down on our front page. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm actually going to go into my index file. I'm going to copy the login form like so, delete it. And then I'm going to go back into my header, the PHP, and in between my home and sign up, because usually you have the login form next to the sign up button, at least in my head you do, I'm going to go ahead and open up some PHP tags. And yes, you can actually mix PHP and HTML code like we're doing right now, in case you didn't know. And I'm just going to go ahead and paste everything in here. Now here's the thing, because this is now PHP code and not HTML code anymore, we need to actually change all the double quotes you have inside the text to single quotes. So I'm just going to go ahead and highlight every single one of them. It's so nice with this text editor I'm using right now that I can actually go in and just highlight everything and change everything at once. So I'm just going to go ahead and select everything. There we go. There we go. And we do actually have one more thing. Oh, right. We do actually need to echo out this code. So I'm just going to write echo right before all the HTML code we just pasted in, double quote, and double quote at the very end here, semicolon. So now we should have a form inside our header. There we go. Now, because it looks like this, it's because we haven't actually styled it yet. So let's actually go ahead and style it. So if I go back into my style sheet, we can actually go ahead and say that inside our header UL, let's just go ahead and copy that then. We have a form. Inside this form, we have an input, like so. And these inputs we want to float left. Just gonna go ahead and delete these here. And let's actually see what we've done so far. Okay, we did nothing apparently, because we do actually need to also float our form. Just gonna go ahead and delete down here. And I'm not sure if we need to float left or right. Okay, we need to float left. So now we do actually have these here. And now what we can do is we can actually go ahead and take our input. For some reason it's not floating. Why is it not floating? Ah, right. We did actually, I'm pretty sure we added a break inside this form. So let's actually go in here. Yes, we added a break inside our inputs, or at least right after the inputs. So we need to delete those. Otherwise the float styling is not gonna apply. There we go. So now we have a login form up here, and we can actually start styling this login form so it actually looks, again, somewhat nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that my input is going to have border set to none, because it doesn't look very pretty. And I'm also gonna go ahead and give it a margin right, because we do actually want some spacing. So I'm gonna say margin right 10 pixels. Well, that might actually be way too much. Let's actually say 6 pixels. And we also want to give it a margin left, because we need some spacing in between the stuff. Actually, we don't need margin left. No, we don't need that. There we go. So now we need to start the login form, or like the button that we have inside the form. So we're gonna go ahead and copy the input here. And we're gonna say login form input button instead. And again, we want it to have a border as none. We want to float it left, and we want to make sure that the, or what do you call it, the margin right is set to maybe something a little bit more than 6 pixels. Let's actually go ahead and put that to, what was it, 20? We put for all the other items. And then we're gonna go ahead and give it a background color. Oops, that was just background. Now I can't really see my keyboard when I'm typing because I have the microphone in front of me. But I'm gonna go ahead and set this color as white, I'm guessing, even though it wouldn't probably look very good. So now that we have this, let's actually go and change the color as well of the text. So it's black, or like the same color code as the navigation background. And we did not change anything for some reason. Why did the background color not change? Did it change? It did change. I'm just not noticing it. Let's change the font size to 14 pixels. Well, actually 16 pixels. Inside the button, I mean. There we go. And well, let's just keep this styling for now. This looks fine. If you do want this, mouse cursor that actually, turns into a hand when you hover on top of a button or something, because right now the buttons don't actually have that mouse cursor symbol when you hover. You can actually go ahead and go into your button form or button styling and set cursor to pointer. So now if you do actually refresh, you guys will notice we get this hand symbol. So now we have something very basic here, and I can actually go ahead and delete this so you guys can see how it looks like that. And what we can actually do now is move our lockout button up there. Now the lockout button only needs to be there if we're in fact logged in. So what we're gonna do here is inside our header, we do actually need to write a piece of code. And we did actually include this code somewhere already. So we're gonna go into our index file and we're gonna copy the if-else statement that actually checks if we're logged in. I'm gonna copy it, put it inside my header right before the echo that echoes out our login form, and just make sure everything looks nice by moving it up a little bit. So now what we wanna do is we wanna say, if we are logged in, then do this. If we're not logged in, then do this. So we wanted to, when we're not logged in, to show the login form. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy our echo of the login form down here, delete it, and paste it in instead of this echo that we have inside the else statement. And move everything up so it looks nice. And now what we want to do is, instead of echoing out session ID inside, if we're in fact logged in, is we want to echo out the logout form. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy our logout form from the front page, delete all the breaks we have here again, save it. Inside our header, I'm going to go ahead and paste this in instead. And again, just like the login form, we do also need to echo this out and change all the double quotes in here, because we don't want to close up whatever we're doing here. So we're just going to go ahead and echo this out. Like so. If I refresh, you guys will see that right now a logout button did actually disappear. If I do log in, you can see that we have a logout button. So we did actually change everything in here. So now this completely disappeared. If I do want to sign up, I can hit the sign up button. And as you guys can see, we do actually have the ID of us logged in written here. If I zoom in for you guys, there we go. We do actually have our ID written out, and we can actually sign ourselves up. Now, again, if you want this not to show if you're actually logged in already, you can actually do the exact same thing as we just did with the logout. Let's actually go and do that. And copy the if-else statement that we have inside our front page. We're going to go to sign up, and we're going to go ahead and paste it underneath here. And make sure it's inside PHP tags, of course, because we didn't actually do that. Like so. Now we're going to paste it in, and we're going to copy the entire sign up form. And we're going to paste it in where we have our, if you're not logged in, then show this. So I'm going to paste it in there, move everything up so it looks nice. And I'm going to change all the double quotes again. Now, a habit that I sometimes do myself when I create these sort of forms before, if I do actually not have, every time I create any kind of form, I just use single quotes every single time, because then I won't actually have to do all this nifty busy business that we're doing right now of having to change everything inside our form into single quotes. There we go. So now if we are in fact not logged in, it shows the form. If we are logged in, then I want to, instead of writing out our session ID, I want to write a string that says you are already logged in, because they're already logged in, so they can't sign up. Refresh, and as you guys can see, it says you are already logged in, because I am actually logged in. If I hit the logout button, we do actually get an error, because we did not fix something inside our logout form, apparently. Did not include my .. in here. That's why. Go back again. Let's actually redo that. So I'm going to log in. As you guys can see, I wrote something wrong. There we go. I'm logged in now. If I do actually go back to the sign up form, it says you already logged in. And if I do actually log out, it takes me back to the front page and it logs me out. Gonna zoom out so it looks nice again. So that's basically how we style and create this sort of login form. Now, again, this code that we use to actually tell them, if we're not logged in, then show this. If you are logged in, show this. That's the only difference you're really going to do every single time you're going to show certain content. For example, let's say you have a forum and you need to be logged in order to write something inside the forum. Well, then basically you're not going to show the text area that you're going to use to write something, like a message that you can post inside the forum. You're going to say that it's not going to show if you are not logged in, like in here. If you are logged in, then you can actually paste in the, write something form inside this part up here. So this is the basic way we create these sort of things. So I hope this kind of gave you guys an idea about, the whole styling aspect and all that stuff from doing this. I did actually say that we were going to spend this episode creating error handlers, and we did not. We did actually focus on creating this, which I think is still pretty important. So we're just going to go ahead and end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know this was a long episode. In the next episode, we will in fact do error handling. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time.